Good morning. Welcome to Talkie Town. Population U. Talkie. Let's see. So, Emaxing has been going on pretty well. I keep having little reminders of things that need to be updated. Which is good. One of the things that's kind of surprising me right now is that I'm getting back into this PHP so easily. It's probably because the project's already defined, but like any other thing that I'm into right now, I'm just like, well, yeah, but can it be in Lisp? Can I transition this? Yeah, these are dangerous ideas. So I'm in Emacs now, and I am lisping because it's in Emacs, and I can eLisp whenever I feel like it. So I'm trying to figure out things that are direct application to speed, to code delivery, to finishing. And unfortunately, what I think is the only thing that's holding me up right now is logic. So I need to figure out how these pieces are fitting together, will fit together, and should fit together. So my problem is not PHP, and my problem is not Lisp or typos or syntax. My problem is logic right now. So the question is, how do I logic better? And I think the answer to that, historically at least, has been whiteboards. Large space, a large expanse upon which to draw things and to move things around. In the past, this had been accomplished with OneNote, and I don't really have an optimal OneNote interface right now. I do wish. No, I'm not doing that. I do wish I could have a OneNote interface. It's I don't think I'm glory days-ing this, but when I had that Surface Pro, it had such great ink detection and handwriting detection. It had a button on the stylus, and it had full touch and touch disabling when you're writing on it. So the effect of that was I had almost seamless integration with my brain. Wow, that's okay. So that's a big deal, actually. It's something I've tried to replicate since I broke the Surface. Yeah, that's dang. All right, so okay, the Surface is lightweight, easy to use. This is very lightweight. It's easy to carry around. It was large enough that I could still see stuff. And the inking was good enough that I could easily write and actually read it again later, which is one of the more important parts. But I could also pinch zoom in and out and rotate, and erase by flipping the pen over, and hold the button on the side to select, and then drag, move bits around. And I could select by stroke, so that was very easy and very intuitive. So I could I would have this problem on whiteboards, is I would run out of space and I would have to expand it, or if this is in the wrong spot, I have to rewrite it over here and then erase it over there. But with the OneNote, I just select it and then drag it over. That's really bothersome. So it was, the point I'm trying to make is it was the realization that I'm having is it was perfect, or near perfect. I don't know. I'm just going to call it perfect workflow for my brain for getting stuff out of my head. Because I would take pictures, I would import pictures, I could draw on the pictures, I could zoom in, zoom out, resize things pretty easily, write arrows, draw arrows all over these things to point at the things that I want to add in. It's always the Prius driver. It's always the Prius driver. Point arrows at the things I wanted to add, move things around, and that was just, it was so intuitive I didn't even have to think about it. And when you don't have to think about something, it's muscle memory. It's perfect workflow. That's what Vim that's what Vim is for. That's what Emacs can be for, is when you make the move, you don't think in terms of keystrokes. There's no translation. The translation is automatic. You think, I want to delete this paragraph, or I want to move this paragraph, or delete to the end of the line, or transpose these words. And by the time you finish completing the thought in your head, your medulla oblongata has already, completed the task. Your fingers have already performed the task, and you don't even know what you pressed. I have definitely been in Vim and done things that I was like, what if I do this? And then I do it, and then I think about it, and I'm like, how did I do that? I wish I could go back and replay the keystrokes to see what I did, because I'm not quite sure how I got to where I got. And that's the goal, that's the object, is to be able to get to that position where you don't actually have to think about any of this anymore, where it's just automatic. And working with getting stuff excuse me out of my head was just, I didn't even have to think about it. It was easy with that Surface tablet. And maybe what I need to do is go to I can see myself cringing. Go to Best Buy and look at some of these tablets and test out their inking and see how responsive they are for, multi-touch and zoom in, zoom out, and rotate and flip around. Not for OneNote, but for, I don't even know if it works with that. You know what? For OneNote, I don't care. Yeah. Once I get OneNote on a box, I can probably do some kind of exporting trick. It works offline. I would just want to be able to copy these files around so that I can import them and re-import them later. And it would have to be small. No. Okay. So if it were small enough that I could carry it, I'd probably drop it. Okay. Be cool. Just, we need to be able to get ideas out. Bugger. All right. And the OneNote app actually isn't that bad on Android, and that opens up a huge possibility of, well, it's really just note devices actually, being able to load and sync all that stuff through Android, because you can, Android tablets are a dime a dozen, but I guess those with Wacom tablet pens are not a dime a dozen, but all right. So there was just some kind of magic with that system that I had, and I don't want this to be nostalgia, or this to be, was it glory days, as I said earlier. Like, well, everything just seemed to flow better at that point. I was also driving like 90 minutes to and from work. I was driving 3 hours a day, and it just about killed me, but it is not lost on me that the ability to drive that long allowed me to really flesh out ideas. I had a lot of recordings from that time too, where I was just, riffing on ideas for writing, poetry, any programming ideas. I could do structure, architecture while I was talking about it, and figure things out, bring up ideas, get rid of them, add new ones. It's hard to, I don't know, it's the struggle, I guess. I can't say good times, because they were not good times. They were very difficult times. I don't know. I guess it's just the struggle, what is it? You got to be able to, constraint. Your creativity thrives under the constraint, which is why it seems odd. I'm not sure that the tablet is an idea that needs to be constrained. I don't know. I gotta see if there's, I gotta go to Best Buy and see if there's anything that they have that is actually responsive enough to be able to do all those things. I would like to be able to use, I don't know how you pronounce it, but X journal. It's just the word journal with an X instead of a J. Journal. It has almost all of the features that I want in OneNote, because I'm pretty sure they just copied the features pretty heavily from it. They did a really good job. They did a really good job implementing those features, but there's some stuff that doesn't have great integration, like the pinch zoom and the rotates and all that. Man. Yeah, and when I think about keyboard development, there was so much stuff that I was just sketching off of pictures, and, I was just messing around. And a lot of ideas came out of that. A lot of keyboard stuff came out of that. Almost all of the keyboard ideas came out of that, actually. Wow. Alright. I really don't want a Windows box. Maybe I can bring that. Yeah, well. See, the other thing is, I want to be able to test this out. I have a Note, an 8-inch, 10-inch Note tablet that's not doing much right now. I've isolated it on the network. At last check, 37 days up. When it's not phoning home to Google, it just sits and idles. 37 days on the charge, and I think it was at like 30% or something like that. So, over a month. can just sit there for over a month when it's not phoning home to Google, you know, bleeding information out. So I would like to be able to test out whether or not that magic is still there by having, you know, doing like a half measure where you can kind of try it out and see if it clicks. And then if it clicks, you do the actual investment. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I really don't want another Windows box, but it's undeniable how much creative work I got done with that. All right, I'll have to think about it.